The white Oxheart tomato is very unique since it is so far the only known white tomato to have this shape. It's not clear from where it originates. On most internet sites it doesn't say where it comes from, while on others it says that it comes from Germany, but I have also found one page which claims it's a French variety. We will probably never know for sure from where it comes. The plant itself has very distinct long leaves, which are already present when the plant is just a seedling, so it's nearly impossible to mistake this plant for another variety. They also have a slightly different shade of green than your typical tomato plant. At first the plant grows quite fast, but once it sets fruit, its growth slows down. When it comes to the growth, it does have one disadvantage. Each stem sooner or later splits into two equal stems, which after a while again split into two equal stems. You have to be very careful when you remove the stems, so that you don't damage the stem that you want to keep. Don't do this with your bare hand, because these stems are way stronger than your typical tomato sucker, so always use a sharp tool. It also grows regular suckers, but in way smaller numbers than most other tomato varieties. It is one of my favorite white tomatoes. Not only do the fruit grow very big, but they also have a pleasant sweet taste and don't have many seeds, so they are perfect for being sliced into pieces. The color is also a plus for me, since it makes it look even more unique. The size of the fruit varies throughout the season. Normally the first 3 fruits are very large and can weigh up to half a kilogram, but the fruits that follow are normally only half of that size, or sometimes even smaller. The vast majority of fruits have the typical Oxheart shape, and it only rarely happens that a fruit is shaped differently. A lot of tomato growers aren't that fond of white tomatoes. Some don't like the color, while others even go so far to say that they are tasteless. The taste probably depends on the climate. In my country, white tomatoes develop a really pleasant sweet taste, and they are almost never sour, which a lot of people like. The same goes for most yellow tomatoes, which is why I always add those tomatoes to tomato sauces, because they make them sweeter and improve the flavor. People, however, have different tastes. Those who want sour tomatoes probably won't like white tomatoes. A disadvantage of this variety is also that its flowers don't tolerate high summer temperatures, and because of that they don't get pollinated and they fall off. That is sometimes also a problem in my country. A long period of high summer temperatures results in a small yield. Keep that in mind if you want to grow this variety, because if the climate doesn't suit it, it will only grow a few fruits in the entire season. The yields are average and the fruits don't store for long, but that's the case with almost every Oxheart tomato, so pick them when they are ripe and use them as soon as possible, be it fresh or processed. The plant itself is not that problematic when it comes to blight compared to other varieties. At least that was the case in the 4 years that I have grown this variety. Just like most other tomatoes, the fruits can crack, but other varieties are more problematic when it comes to cracking. So in case you want to have a plant or two of Oxheart tomatoes in your garden that aren't red, I do recommend that you give this variety a try, except if you live somewhere where you have really hot summers or relatively short growth periods. Personally, I prefer 2 Oxheart varieties over this one. Those are Orange Russian 117 and Orange Oxheart. And you could also add Verna Orange to this. All of those 3 varieties will be described in a future video, so stay tuned.